Good morning from Presidio Heights in San Francisco. We're going to take a little stroll through the Presidio itself here as we talk about why the 49ers are the best team in the NFL by far. This is something that I got in the locker room yesterday. Diameter Lenore was first, and then Tashawn Gibson. A lot of players were not coy about it. They were not covert about it. It was, we're the best team in the NFL by a lot. And, Diameter Lenore even said, I'm trying to give other teams credit. I'm trying to, poke holes in our tape, in our play, so I can try to, trying to give other teams the benefit of the doubt. And even when giving other teams the benefit of the doubt after what the 49ers did to the Cowboys last night in that 42-10 win, he's determined that the 49ers are the best team in football. The analytics determine they're the best team in football right now. The offensive and defensive efficiency is off the chart. So that's what we're going to talk about this morning as the crowd files in. I know that we have a quintessential marine layer San Francisco morning as we walk here through Presidio Heights, one of the jewels of this beautiful city. So we'll be going through the forest here in a second. We might get breakfast at the very end. You can check my article out. It's up on The Athletic. And it quotes Diameter Lenore and Tashawn Gibson and Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, all of whom believe that this is a special year for the 49ers. So a nice little wake-up walk. Actually happy that it's not overly sunny right now. Not sunny at all. Gives us a nice little fall mood to open the day. So I'm making it up this fairly steep hill in Presidio Heights. As soon as I'm up the steep hill, I'll recatch my oxygen and we can get going in earnest. You guys can see where I came from right now. This is Jackson, looking out toward the Pacific Ocean. So how about those 49ers? Brock Purdy. Again, just what we said would happen against the Cowboys. He's going to throw to the right? The Dallas defense overloads pressure, and they're extremely aggressive against what they perceive to be a weakness. And for the 49ers, the perceived weakness is the right side of the offensive line. We haven't gotten the full pressure sheet back yet, but I think that Colton McKivitz and Spencer Burford played really well. They didn't deliver completely clean sheets, but the 49ers did two things. They schemed this game in a way to neutralize Dallas's tendency to over-pursue. So they used Dallas's aggressiveness against them. And they went to the right. And in going to the right, you go to the teeth of the pressure. You let Purdy have that quick reaction time. That, in a way, just really, sometimes just taking on your weakness head on, especially geometrically in football, is the way to best neutralize it. And that worked last year against Dallas when 80% of the 49ers passing yards came on in-breaking routes to the right side. And it happened to this game when the 49ers saw, I think, a good 70-80% of their passing yards again come to the right side. Now, the most famous play as we enter the Presidio, so let's check it out right now. These are the gates to the Presidio. There's another steep San Francisco street. The Presidio used to be a military base. Established when the United States was 1776. Cool. And we could cut down this way so we're not on the busy road. Only in San Francisco can you go from beautiful city to basically a forest this quickly. But anyway, these in-breaking routes and these throws to the right side, which were designed to do two things. They're designed to neutralize Dallas's strength, which was and is, or maybe I should say was, maybe it's past tense, their pass rush. And two, all of this was designed to take Dallas's, like, I mean, they love the pursuit, right? Dallas is, they're specialists in pursuit, and I think that they're specialists in over pursuit. They're designed to take the Cowboys over pursuit and use it against them. And so the most famous play from this game was the double flea flicker, right? The 49ers had that play installed for a couple years now. They wanted to use it against the Philadelphia Eagles in an NFC Championship game, and they did use it, but that was after Brock Purdy got hurt, so they didn't even throw on the play. The little pitch, McCaffrey, Debo, pitch back to Brock Purdy. 49ers didn't even throw the ball. They didn't have the throwing threat in that game. In this game, they did have the throwing threat. And because the 49ers did have the throwing threat, they were able to uncork one to George Kittle. But what that play did is it took the Cowboys' aggressiveness, their over pursuit, and used it against them. The Cowboys were so gung-ho on just going after every single perimeter run action that the 49ers threw at them. And this is something that worked in the first half of last year's game, or last season's game. But it stopped working in the second half when the 49ers started mixing in power. And in this game, well, it might have worked a little bit at the start, but the 49ers set them up. The 49ers set them up with beautiful, consistent outside run action early. And then one of those plays that the Cowboys thought would be more outside run action turned into the fake of the game. So we talk about the 49ers being the best team in the NFL. Their ability to attack you in so many different ways to, in a way that just ends up confusing the hell out of the defense. I mean, that's probably at the top of the list. This is probably now, I would say, this team is driven by complementary football, offense, defense, special teams. It's all there for the 49ers, right? But I think the offense is tugging the train right now. I think the offense is that first locomotive. And it's that first locomotive because the 49ers have Ayuk. They have George Kittle, who scored 3 touchdowns yesterday. They have, obviously, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, I could go down the list. Jordan Mason scored a touchdown yesterday. Joanne Jennings, Debo Samuel, Kyle Juszczyk scored a touchdown yesterday. They have so many ways that they can geometrically space you out and torment you with that offense. I mean, Nick Bosa yesterday said he's never seen anything like it. He said that, the way that this offense is equipped at the skill positions to complement each of its weapons. Like each weapon complements the other with a different skill set. That's why I say you can't really, fairly compare Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk because they're totally different types of players. Christian McCaffrey, different type of player. They're all bringing something else to the table, and the 49ers have pieced it together like this beautiful 1,000-piece puzzle. That is what makes this team so damn unguardable and so good. And you saw the number 1 Dallas defense come into Levi Stadium and just not have a chance. They didn't have a chance. They couldn't play cover 1. They tried to play cover 1 at the start. And the 49ers ran it against cover 1 anyway. They ran it successfully against 8-man boxes at the start, so successfully that Dallas had to go into total over pursuit. I keep on bringing back over pursuit because that's how the 49ers burned them with the trick play, Kittle touchdown. Now, this is all these weapons, all this success, only possible if the trigger man is doing an excellent job. And the trigger man is Brock Purdy, and he's doing a phenomenal job. MVP level football. I am sick of the takes that say, oh, just plug Mac Jones into the system, see what happens. You know what would happen if you plug Mac Jones into the system? The 49ers would not be as good as they would be with Brock Purdy. You could take almost any quarterback in the NFL, plug him into this system, what the 49ers have, and they would not be as good as they are with Brock Purdy. It takes skill, it takes precision, it takes poise to do what Brock Purdy is doing as the point guard of this 49ers offense. Taking a little pause in the Presidio. We're talking about a work of art, the 49ers offense. How about the work of art? You guys recognize that? That is the Golden Gate Bridge. We're going to walk over there toward the Golden Gate Bridge on this fantastic morning in the city. All right. And we continue. So, people, I don't even think realize, and it took me the rewatch of the game. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. this morning, so I slept for 2 hours or so, to put on the repeat of this game. And that one drive early in the second half when Purdy hit Brandon Ayuk on the corner, it was called back due to holding, and then he hit Deebo Samuel on the layered throw, 25, 30 yards downfield. I didn't realize until the rewatch, I'd forgotten that Brock actually hit a layered throw earlier in that drive over the middle of the field to Deebo Samuel. So he had 2 layered throws over Leighton Vander Esch. One actually was under Leighton Vander Esch, but it was over a linebacker on the intermediate passes. And then he hit the corner to Brandon Ayuk that got called back for the hold. So this guy was just like a machine making difficult throws downfield. At this point, I mean, the numbers never lie, but at this point, they really don't lie. Brock Purdy has completed 87% of his passes that have traveled 10 to 20 air yards downfield. He already had the NFL record, the documented NFL record on such intermediate throws last year at 80%. Nobody had matched that before. Not Brady, you just name your quarterback. In the last 20, 25 years, nobody had matched Brock Purdy's intermediate accuracy from 2022. This season, Brock Purdy is breaking his own record, and he's at 87%. So this is historic stuff. He has the highest quarterback rating in the NFL. The EPA per play, expected points per play, an advanced metric, Purdy and this 49ers offense are adding over half a point per drop back. So take some, they're averaging this per drop back. So take some 14 plays to add a touchdown per drop back. So you have to realize most NFL offenses are delivering some negative plays, some mistakes, some stuff that lowers that number. Normally, like a good EPA is like 0.2 points, expected points added per drop back. The 49ers are at over 0.5. So those of you who like the mathematical aspect of this, of the efficiency, I think you should appreciate that. I think that you really will appreciate that. They are blowing the tops off of any efficiency standard that we've seen before since the CPA stuff started being tracked very seriously. I think it's Josh Allen is number 2 in the EPA per play. He's down at like 0.3. Brock Purdy is at over 0.5. The next guy's at 0.3. Then everybody else is 0.2, 0.1. So it is head and shoulders above the rest of the league. All right, Presidio, San Francisco, Golden Gate Bridge, still in front of me. You can't see it anymore. These are like former officers' quarters back from when this was a military base, but they are now just normal houses. Nice little spot. I think the little pathway that I'm on, I think it's called Lover's Lane. Oh, we should just call it 49ers Live Lane as we continue to make our walk down. So you have somebody who's playing as the best quarterback in the league. I'm going to hesitate. I'm not going to call Brock Purdy the best quarterback in the league because he's still, you have to do that probably for at least 2 seasons to earn that title. But right now, he is hands down playing as the best quarterback in the league. Is he a product of the system? Of course he is. But show me the quarterback who has succeeded, that has not had a good system around him, that has not had good players around him, that has not had a good offensive line in front of him. That quarterback doesn't exist. You cannot show me that. It's a team sport. So every single quarterback in the NFL, including Patrick Mahomes, is a product of his system. The question is, how well can that quarterback run the system? That's what we measure. And Brock Purdy is running his system more efficiently than any other QB in the National Football League. Hands down. No question. By a mile. Yeah, on the other side, the Cowboys did look clueless. So it was one of those things where you saw the perspective today. You absolutely saw, or yesterday, you saw what Dallas looked like next to San Francisco. And you said, okay, that is a dysfunctional offense against a really good defense. And then you saw a historic offense against what was the number one Cowboys defense in the league. So, I mean, that's at the center of why the 49ers are the best team in football. But I think sharing the stage is the defense. Fred Warner is a generational player. He can, I mean, a great quote from Tashawn Gibson yesterday is that he can cover like a safety, hit like a linebacker, and rush like a defensive end. Just about 2 weeks ago, Fred Warner was working on pass rush drills with none other than Nick Bosa helping him out at practice. I think that's significant because it just shows you that Warner is beyond the PhD level of playing linebacker. Most linebackers, I mean, I don't want to call them one-trick ponies because they're in the middle of the defense. They have several duties. They got to cover a little bit. They have to stop the run. But, I mean, most linebackers are inherently going to be limited if they leave an area of their expertise. Fred Warner is not limited at all. I mean, last season against the Cowboys, we saw him just completely blanket CeeDee Lamb into the slot, carried him into the slot a good 20 yards. One of the most impressive plays you'll see on a football field. Yesterday, Fred Warner was doing all that. Plus, he was sacking Dak Prescott, and there was instincts there too, but their pass rushing ability and instincts on that sack near the Dallas goal line. We saw the reflexes. I mean, oh my goodness. Deommodore Lenoir breaks the pass up against Michael Gallup. Who's there to scoop up the interception as it pops in the air because he was instinctively heading toward the right side after initially breaking to the left? Fred Warner. I mean, that interception, that wasn't luck. That was one of the heads-up plays, most heads-up plays you'll ever see. Just go and watch the tape. Go and watch the tape. He's breaking to his left, and the throw goes to his right. Yet somehow he's in position to catch a deflected football to his right. And that's all because of instinct and film study. I mean, you got to put the hard work in there too. You got to give Warner credit for the film study. He sensed when Prescott was thrown the other way, even though I don't think could have gotten a fully clear view of it. And then his reflexes are elite. He was able to pick it off. And then, of course, I mean, the forced fumble. Fun fact, that was the 49ers' first forced fumble of the season. They recovered it because they practiced that. And Kevin Givens, I talked to Kevin in the locker room after. He said the first thing I thought of was Daniel Bullock's 49ers DB coach. He's the one that runs the drills for those fumbles that the 49ers try to recover. And, I mean, it paid off by like an inch. It also bounced off of Deommodore Lenoir's leg. I mean, the 49ers, obviously they got a little lucky, but you make your luck. And you know who made the luck? Fred Warner, with probably one of the most textbook peanut punches that you'll ever see. So teach tape. You make teach tape based on plays that guys get right. Warner's going to be on the teach tape for how he forced that fumble. Kevin Givens is going to be on the teach tape for how he recovered that fumble. This is a defense that is delivering on the details. That's why it's the best defense in the league. And I think the rankings are going to match that soon enough. They're probably going to completely swamp Cleveland's offense next week. Cleveland's offense hasn't been very good. The worry with Cleveland is their defense. So it's going to be a matchup of two really great defenses. But as you could tell, the 49ers defense, they took the fact that Dallas came into this game technically ranked number one on defense personally. The 49ers said, no, we're the best defense. Well, if they took that personally, they might take this game against Cleveland personally, because the Browns are going to come in ranked as the number one defense. But just the diligence and the attention to detail that you saw on that one play with Warner punching the ball out and then Givens diving on the football an inch short of the sideline. This is all stuff the 49ers practice. They are better coached than any team in the National Football League. They're more talented than any team. The one thing that's going to stop the 49ers, or can stop the 49ers, I'm not going to say it's going to, the one thing that can stop them are injuries. And so far, they have dodged those by and large. It's what it comes down to. You are watching a historically good roster and historically well-coached roster, I think, compete right now. And to me, that's something to appreciate. I think that's something really special. All right, where should I turn here? Trying to find my way to the bridge. I talked to Banks in the locker room. He said that He's going to get checked out today. They're not fearing that it's season ending. They think that it's the type of biceps injury. It's not like a big ruptured biceps. They think it's either strained or pulled, which are different degrees of obviously some tear in the muscle, but I think the 49ers believe they can, and Aaron Banks believes he can work around it. So we're headed over to the Tunnel Tops Park. All right, so I gave you the detail-oriented nature of the defense, the overwhelmingly geometrically dominant nature of the offense with all the weapons, Brock Purdy helming it all. I mean, those are really good reasons why the 49ers are the best team in the NFL. And again, none of this is opinion. All of this is documented fact. They've been head and shoulders more efficient than anybody else. They lead the league in DVOA. That's defense adjusted value over average. Number one after this game. So it absolutely has been something that, I mean, the teams of the 80s and 90s never started this well for the 49ers. Let's just put it that way. So look, I got a workout class going on over there. The Presidio is waking up the day after the 49ers absolutely dismantled the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Yeah, I mean, somebody's saying I didn't predict the 49ers would win by 32. I didn't either. I predicted 24-17. This is one prediction that I was pretty wrong on as far as the score goes. All right, I can see the bay now. Water is over there. Oh, I could see the Palace of Fine Arts too. Beautiful. What a walk this morning. There's like offices and stuff around here. Presidio is a really interesting spot, that's for sure. I have gone to the new park. It's awesome, and I'm headed back there right now. All right, 49ers questions. Let's talk. Put up some good questions, and we will discuss. Pretty soon we're going to get to see the Golden Gate Bridge. It's going to be a great... Ooh, nice. Some artillery here. Look at this. Told you it used to be a military base. Big piece of artillery. The 49ers are going up against 5 bird teams in a row. The Browns aren't a bird team. You mean later on they're going on against bird teams. The Browns are dogs, right? The dog pound. I'm really looking forward to seeing Cleveland. Never been there. And yeah, the 49ers were so dominant. This is the old hospital. Oh, cool. The 49ers were so dominant in this game that they yanked their starters after about 3 quarters. Just sensational. So if we head, I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to do this. Oh, there's the Golden Gate Bridge again. You could see that sucker off behind the bus. I think if I cross over here, then we're going to be hitting that Tunnel Tops Park pretty damn soon. So somebody's asking why the protection looked really good. I agree with you. I don't think it was perfect. I think that the protection was, I mean, I saw Burford get beat by Osai Digazua early. I saw Colton McKivitz get beat by Micah Parsons. But you're right. As soon as these pressure numbers come out from PFF, and I think that's going to be happening pretty soon, And you know I'm going to get into it. I think they're going to be really damn impressive. A lot better than when the 49ers played the Cowboys last season. We could put it that way. And I just think that they're getting better. I just think that, you know, the book is not written by week one of a season. It takes some time, especially if you've got new starters on that offensive line, and they have one new starter in Colton McKivitz, and I would say half a new starter in Spencer Burford, because he split some time with Daniel Brunskill last year. It's going to take some time for them to gel. It's Jake Brendel's second year starting at center. So the upward trajectory, the upward mobility is really here for this offensive line. And they were already the number 3 graded run blocking offensive line entering this game. They were number 20 in pass protection. But there was an upward trend in the pass protection. And, you know, when I say that they're geometrically impossible to cover, I think that means it all comes back down to how well they can protect Brock Purdy, because the more data that we get on Brock Purdy, the more we see that if he has time and everything's good for him, he's not going to screw it up. He's way too smart. He's way too adept in the pocket. And Brock Purdy's also one of the more athletic quarterbacks in the league. So, yeah, people need to get lost with he's physically limited. Are you kidding me? His 10-yard burst is the same as Lamar Jackson's. For the purposes of actually playing quarterback, manipulating the pocket, Brock Purdy's one of the best athletes in football. So it's just, there's so many bad narratives that are getting shot down surrounding the 49ers. And anyway, I went off on a little bit of a tangent, but that all fits in with the offensive line question, because if Purdy has that plus mobility, plus burst, and the line is improving, well, you saw it on the first touchdown to George Kittle. Brock Purdy manipulated the pocket. Step to his right, Colton McKivitz forced DeMarcus Lawrence around the hoop, around the outside, and Brock Purdy did the rest with his burst. He absolutely has improved since last year. Yeah, last year he was bailing like Russell Wilson bails. This year he's stepping up in the pocket. He has taken massive strides, Brock Purdy has. All right, we made our walk through the entire Presidio, and we're coming up here on Tunnel Tops Park. I could even sit down here maybe with a view of the Golden Gate Bridge, field some more of your questions. So this is the new park on top of the tunnels of 101 headed to the Golden Gate Bridge. And as you can see, it is absolutely spectacular. Alcatraz over that way. The Golden Gate this way. And me right here. Cool. Getting better with the gimbal. I'm gonna go find one of those benches over there. Get a little bit closer to the bridge. I slept 2 hours at most last night. Asked my wife. I think I woke up pretty damn early to go start watching the game tape. I think that the Christian McCaffrey working too hard narrative comes from the land of people just trying to find something wrong. There is nothing wrong with this football team right now. You just be satisfied. Christian McCaffrey's been a workhorse his whole career, and he's been fine. He hadn't had injury issues because of overuse. He had some soft tissue injuries in his previous stop at Carolina, but those were not overuse injuries. So if anything, he's got that callus built up now. So there you go. There's downtown San Francisco, Palace of Fine Arts. And here comes our pan. Alcatraz. I did have my In-N-Out last night. Made it to the Santa Clara In-N-Out before they closed. They weren't even mad at me. I made it like 15 minutes before close. There's the bay. And there's the bridge. I think I'm the only one here. This is crazy. But I love it. Doesn't seem too appetizing to swim this morning, but I still might. Got to get it in. Yeah, the McKivitz block on one of the touchdowns to Kittle was really good. Colton McKivitz, I think, is better than Mike McGlinchey already. And that's a big development for the 49ers because they're paying him, McGlinchey signed for $87.5 million with Denver. McKivitz is playing for like $1.5 million a year. So that's a step up for the 49ers. Look, I got red chairs, not recliners, but chairs, but I can also sit on this. I think I'll sit on this. They have a whole playground down there. This place is certifiably crazy. I haven't been to the playground part. You can even lay down on these. Beautiful. I have a question, and I'm going to just steal a comment here. When will Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch be held accountable? Oh, we're such tough journalists. Let's hold them accountable. Somebody needs to hold their feet to the fire for building the best roster in the NFL. Probably the most well-coached team in the NFL. Turning a 7th-round pick into the best QB in the NFL. That's how he's playing right now. You can't argue with it. He is playing as the best QB in the NFL. I mean, it is just absolutely absurd. It's funny to me. Because I dealt with a lot of abuse over the course of the offseason and training camp. And, you know, a lot of kind of like know-it-all abuse from know-it-alls who knew nothing, who knew absolutely nothing. Like, you couldn't have been more wrong on every single part of this. Like, everything. Every single part of it, they got wrong. Just kind of how life works, though. But let's just sit back and enjoy the view. How did the 49ers match up with the Eagles? Well, I thought they matched up pretty damn well even last year. That was Purdy's a lot better now, but then Purdy got hurt. It's going to come down to pass protection, and they protected so much better against Dallas than they did last season, as some people have already pointed out. That I think, and I don't think the Eagles are quite as good as they were last year. I think the Eagles have lost a little bit of steam. I don't know if it's a hangover, no Javon Hargrave or what. He's on the Niners now. But I think that the 49ers are in good position to take on the Eagles. I think they'd be favored in a game today. The Eagles do have their brotherly shove, that's right. Yeah, I love, my favorite part was that Jed York supposedly chewed out Shanahan and Lynch before, right after they traded Trey Lance, and said that he put them on notice when, in fact, he was working on contract extensions for both of them. Yeah, I mean, you cannot make some of this stuff up. It is absolutely wild. But we have Purdy. We have an offensive line that's really improving. We have all these skill position weapons. What a tough-ass game from Christian McCaffrey. Jawan Jennings is a monster out there blocking. You know, the 49ers average over 6 yards per carry when Jennings is in the game, and only a little bit over 4 when he's not. So that's, I mean, just goes to show you the importance of Jawan in that offense. George Kittle, it's his birthday today. Happy birthday to George Kittle. 3 touchdowns yesterday. Massively impressive performance. He's not regressed at all. That's one of the things that some people are wrong about. Oh, George Kittle is losing steam. No, he's not. They just have a ton of weapons. And this is not a selfish team. So they don't care if one game Kittle catches one pass for 9 yards. He knows that chances are there's going to be a game where he racks up 3 touchdowns and is a focal part of the game plan. You can go back and watch my video from yesterday at around this time. I said George Kittle's going to have a huge game tonight. You know why? Because I watched tape. I know what the Cowboys do. I know what the 49ers do. You do your homework and you see that these players are really damn good, even if the box score production isn't there. And you know that it's just a matter of time and the right setup against the right opponent, the right scheme, they're going to go off. So I said George Kittle was going to go off yesterday, and George Kittle went off. It is not hard to figure out. Some of this stuff is actually really predictable. I just don't think that, a lot of people do their homework in this regard. Another one is Nick Bosa. People trying to give Nick Bosa grief for what? not having enough sacks, something ridiculous like that, even though the opposing offenses are going exclusively quick release against the 49ers. He leads the league in pressures, or he's right up there and he's the highest graded defensive player in football, Nick Bosa is. He hadn't taken a playoff this season. I think he's been better than he was last year when he had 18 and a half sacks, but it's a very casual take to say, oh, he's signed his contract, so now all of a sudden he's not putting as much effort and he's not as good. It's not the case. He is just as good, if not better, as his pre-contract self, and he split a sack with Eric Armstead yesterday. Leaf blower down there. Sorry if it's a little loud. There he is. 49ers played a ton of man coverage yesterday. Deommodore Lenoir said, Steve Wilks trusted us with the man coverage. He was really happy about that. Really appreciated the trust that Steve Wilks gave him. And somebody just pointed it out, whenever Dak did hold the ball for a little bit longer, it was bad news for the Cowboys. 4 sacks yesterday. So man-to-man coverage, rush and coverage have to fuel each other. And the 49ers coverage certainly fueled the rush. There was some really sticky man-to-man coverage. They trusted Isaiah Oliver against CeeDee Lamb. They trusted Charvarius Ward against against Michael Gallup on that deep pass. We saw Deommodore Lenoir knock one away from Michael Gallup. That turned into the interception for Fred Warner. Saw a nice little Hufanga blitz in the second half. That turned into the pick for Tashawn Gibson, his 33rd career interception at age 33. This is a really damn good defense, and I don't think they've peaked yet. I think we saw a little glimmer of what it's going to be, but they shouldn't be peaking yet. They should be working on getting this to an epic level by December, January, and then February. People just don't. Somebody said Brady was called the system QB even after he had won multiple rings. But here's the thing: the general public just doesn't, and this, not just the general public. People who cover football don't know how to evaluate quarterback play. I would think that I do know how to evaluate quarterback play, and I think I wouldn't even need an advanced degree in evaluating quarterback play to say that Brock Purdy is a damn good quarterback. That what he's doing is extremely difficult, and he's executing it at a very, very high level. And, the way I know this is that all I have to do is talk to people. You could talk to Kyle Shanahan, who does have an advanced degree in this stuff. I mean, it is plain to see that what Brock Purdy is doing is unprecedented at this point, especially for somebody of his draft position. And it's time that he gets that respect. He should be the leader in the MVP race based on production. Every single quarterback is a system quarterback. It's football. Football is a system. Football is the art of the system. That's what this sport is about. It's a team sport. It's a beautiful sport because of its collective nature. So every single QB is a system QB. At this point, whenever somebody says that Brock Purdy is just a product of the system, they're outing themselves as not knowing the game. You go ahead and tell them that. It is beyond ridiculous. And it's happened so many times. It's happened with Brady. It's happened with Montana. I think it's time that we respect the sport of football, appreciate the game, and recognize teamwork, because that's what teaches good lessons about life. This individualistic crap and arguing about who gets credit, it kind of defaces the spirit of the game, in my opinion. It's not what it's about. It's missing the entire mark of analysis. You have a system, and then you have players who have to execute it. Simple as that. I know you guys probably don't want to look at me, so we'll look at the city. I love the Palace of Fine Arts. We got to do another show from there. The Texas toast offense. That's funny. Hot take. Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson make the Niners worse? I think Purdy's definitely better than Lamar Jackson. I mean, if you're talking about throwing the football, then yes. And I mean, he's got the same burst as Lamar Jackson's on the 10-yard split. So, yeah, I don't think they'd be better with Lamar Jackson. As far as Josh Allen goes, well, Allen has done it with his arm too. He does put the ball in a lot more danger than Brock Purdy. So that's a tougher question. You got to show Allen some respect. He's been doing it a little bit longer than Brock Purdy. All right, so the 49ers are the best team in the NFL. Whether or not they can sustain that, that's a different question. But right now, the 49ers are the best team in the NFL. No, they will not be staying on the East Coast for the next 2 games. Have a lot of content that will be flowing in for you here over the next day, the next 2 days. I got to get to work on it. Written, video, all that. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to turn around. We're going to show you the Golden Gate Bridge one more time. But at this point, just appreciate what you're seeing out of the San Francisco 49ers because it is damn impressive. There it is. That's impressive too. That's the Golden Gate Bridge right behind me. We'll talk to everybody soon. More and more will be coming. The 49ers are 5-0, best start in franchise history, best team in the NFL. Now they just have to sustain it. They've won the sprint. It is now time for them to focus on winning the marathon.